What is going on, everybody? Thomas here from That Money Guy, and today I'm going to be coming at you with something a little different today. I say that every video, I don't know why I keep saying that. But today we're going to be talking about a simple budget. Budgeting is really, really important. It's really important for a lot of things. Dave Ramsey quotes that you need to find a place for every single penny in your budget, and I believe that's really, really true. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to create a simple budget based off of just some general figures and show you at least how I do it. So I like to open up a couple of these fields just to give me a little bit more space to work with. And I'm working in Excel here, and I might do a similar video in Numbers, but for now we're just in Microsoft Excel. So one of the things I like to do when I'm making a budget is I like to color code. I think color coding is really, really important because it shows me, at least, and I'm a very visual person, where the importance of certain things are, right? So I've got my red, I've got my yellows, and I've got my greens. Again, that's subject to change. Usually that stays the same, but sometimes I'll add something else to it. Now the red is very simple. That is priorities. Priorities are things like rent, are things like insurance. Basically, they're just the fixed expenses. So my rent, my insurance, they're fixed. Now I have my flex priorities. My flex priorities are priorities, same thing. However, they are subject to a little bit of volatility in terms of pricing, right? So they're things like groceries. They are things like gas for my car. They are things like utilities. So these are all expenses that need to be made every single month or week or whatever, but they are subject to a little bit of variable. And then the green is what I call my fun money. Pretty simple stuff. It's not a very difficult chart here. And so what we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to come up with a basic budget for you guys, and if it's something that you guys think you can learn off of, and maybe even add your own flares to it. I mean, this is pretty simple stuff. But let's get started. So let's say we're working, and this is Tom's budget, and let's say I bring home $2,000 in a pay period. That'd be nice. So $2,000 every other week, right? Now, you know what? Scratch that. We're going to do $2,000 every month, right? Keep it really simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow our chart here, and we're going to do our priorities first, our fixed costs. So rent and insurance. Well, let's say you have a $600 a month rent charge. So you put down your rent, right? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, right? $600 is rent. Your car insurance, let's say that is $80. That runs you about $80. Your car insurance. Now, one of the things I just like to add about car insurance, which I have been doing myself, is, as you probably all know, car insurance after about, I think, 6 months, it adjusts the price and gives you a new insurance period. So it's a 6-month period, and usually, depending on whether or not you had a good run, a good 6 months, it usually will lower the price for you a little bit. And so what I've been doing is when my insurance premiums have gone down, I have kept this expense the same, $80, and I have adjusted my insurance coverage and improved it with the money I save. I'll add a little, I'll boost my coverage, I'll boost my premiums, things like that here and there, so that the price remains the same, but I'm getting better value for it every 6 months. And so what I do for these is I paint them red. Again, it's pretty straightforward. And the reason I do it, again, is because I'm a very visual guy. And so it just helps me get a very clear picture of what I'm looking at here. And now we're on to our flex priorities. Our groceries, our gas, and our utilities. Right? I call these flex priorities, again, because they vary. But I try and set a high limit for my groceries, my gas, and my utilities, and I invest the difference. So let's say I want to, in 1 month, I want to spend $200 on groceries. Right? And then I want to, or I forecast spending about, $50 in gas. And then maybe all in all $100 in my utilities. Okay, and now I'm starting to build a picture, a rough estimate of what my flex priorities are going to be. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. And then once this is all said and done, right, we can add it all up. And basically, it's really simple. I just usually do the math in my head. 680, 880, 930, 103 there. So my leftover is $1,030 every month. Again, pretty straightforward stuff. I think the fun money is the most important priority, and I say that because we all know what our rent requires from us. We all know what our car insurance requires from us. And this is where I think the budget really, this is where it needs some kind of control, because $1,000 is a lot of money. And if you leave it unchecked, you don't look at it, you don't take care of it, that could become a big problem after a while. And so what I do is generally that fun money I break into 3 subcategories. My investing, I generally call it emergency fund, and then my fun. Call it fun twice because I'm going to have twice as much fun with it. And so I split that money usually 3 ways. And I try and keep my fun the lowest, because at the moment my income isn't particularly in a high place that I feel the comfort of spending money. So what I'd probably do is I would probably spend $400 in my investments. I would probably spend $400 in my emergency fund, and I would spend the remaining $230 in my fun category. Now, this is a pretty strict budget. It is very rigid, and it doesn't really leave much room for any kind of leeway here. And the leeway comes in the investments, emergency, and fun. And I say that because these are all things that you can't mess up on. You can't mess up on your rent. You have to make those payments. You can't mess up on your insurance. You have to make those payments. Groceries, gas, and utilities, the same thing, right? I did emphasize that my groceries, my gas, and my utilities, they do flex. Sometimes I spend a little bit more on groceries. Sometimes I spend $10 less in gas. Utilities is the same thing. And what I do, let's just say I have I'm going to give this guy some room. Put him over here. Let's say I only spend $180 in groceries. So that gives me $20 left over, right? That's pretty straightforward. $20 not spent. I'm going to tell you what I do with this money afterwards. In gas, I've only spent $45, so I have $5 not spent. Okay, and then my utilities, let's say I only had about $85 worth of utilities, so I have $15 not spent, giving me a grand total of $40. $40 not spent total. Okay. Again, this isn't a lot of money. $40, I get it. It's not a lot of money. But if you... One moment, please. But if you take that $40 and you understand that, oh crap, or oh whatever, my car is due for an oil change. So you put that money, you put that $40, and you assign it to a certain spot, right? You say, you know what? Okay, I haven't spent an extra $40. I'm going to put that into my emergency fund. The emergency fund is, this is a simple budget. I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can for you. But for every one of these little categories, I have subcategories. In my emergency fund, I have an emergency fund and I have a car fund. And so they're both emergency fund, but for two different kinds of emergencies. So I put that $40 into my car emergency fund, but just for the sake of it, I'm going to bump that up to 440.00. And that's basically how it works. If my investment account is looking good and I feel good about what I'm doing, the stock market's on the rise and I don't really want to make as many investments, I can change that down to 200 and bump that up to 640. That's basically all it is assigning space, assigning a task, assigning a budget, a purpose, whatever you want to call it, to your money. It's really, really that simple. And then as you get better, as you get more used to doing this, you can create sub-funds. You can create things like emergency fund for car. You could have emergency fund for medicine. You could have an emergency fund for furniture. These things could be considered overkill by many, but a lot of you guys, I'm sure, when you've been in positions where money hasn't been a big thing, and one thing breaks, like a couch, and you can be left in a really, really bad spot. One of the things I do with my fund categories, again, similar to my emergency funds for car, is I'll set up separate funds. So I'll have a PlayStation goal. I'll have a vacation goal, and so I'll take instead of that $230, I'll put $100 there and $130 Sorry, $130 there. And it's just all about breaking down. You have to write down exactly how much you anticipate making. As soon as you start messing around with money that hadn't been spent, that you saved at the store or whatnot, you start to end up in pretty dangerous territory, because instead of spending 40, you look on your card and still see you have all this money, so you spend 45, and so now you're starting to take out of your other funds, your other important things. So assigning it a space for things like groceries and gas. I wait until the end of the month, until I know that I have no other expenses coming up, because how often have you at some point come home and you're like, oh, I don't have this, that, or the other. So if you have this $20 that hasn't been spent, you can go to the store and you can go ahead and buy whatever it is you need. All right. So for me, again, I love using colors. I really am a color-oriented guy. It's what I like. It's what makes it easier for me to learn. And so, yeah, it's all about what you guys want to do. If this video is something that you guys liked, please comment below and tell me what your thoughts are. I am really interested to find out. This is my first time recording on the screen here. I hope the audio is okay. I'm going to try and keep it as clean as possible. But yeah, take a look at the budget. Usually none of this stuff is here. It gets put and created pretty neatly. I'll put little areas. What you call it? I put little borders around it, so I'll have that, or whatever, and I'll put it on the top and the bottom and the side and side. It just makes it look a little bit nicer. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please smash that like button, comment below, and if you wouldn't mind, a subscription would be awesome. Thank you guys so much. Take care. I love you. Goodbye.